Okay, let's be real for a second. Do you ever feel like your AI is just stuck in first gear? It's slow, it's clunky, and it just doesn't seem to get what you're asking? Well, what if I told you the problem probably isn't the AI itself, but how you're feeding it information? Today, we're going to pop the hood on the Manus AI and reveal the simple, core rules that will totally transform its performance, from sluggish to supercharged. Let's get into it.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about a pretty counterintuitive speed limit that actually makes your AI faster. Then, we'll get into why thinking small is the absolute key to getting big results. After that, I'll show you how to design a winning blueprint right from the start. And finally, we'll wrap up with a solid action plan you can use, like today.
All right, first up, the 2,000 character limit. I know, a limit sounds like a bad thing, a restriction, right? But just stick with me here. I'm about to show you why this one single constraint is basically a secret weapon for unlocking insane speed and pinpoint accuracy in your AI. I mean, have you ever asked your AI a simple question and you just wait and wait? Or maybe you get an answer back that's, technically right, but it completely misses the point? Yeah, that's a super common frustration, and it almost always comes back to one single, totally fixable issue with the knowledge base. And that issue is tied to this magic number right here, 2,000. Every single piece of knowledge you give Manus has a hard limit of 2,000 characters. Now, don't think of it as a barrier. Think of it as the speed limit on the information highway. It's there on purpose to make sure everything flows smoothly and gets to its destination, instantly. So why this limit? It's not just some random number. It's totally by design. First, it forces you to be crystal clear. You have to cut out all the fluff and get right to the points. That makes processing incredibly fast for the AI. But the biggest win? Accuracy, for sure. When knowledge is this focused, the AI grabs exactly the right tool for the job, not a whole toolbox full of maybes. And that whole idea of small, focused entries, well, that leads us straight into our next core principle. This isn't just about counting characters. It's a whole philosophy. A modular approach will always, always beat a monolithic one. Let's break down exactly what that means. Okay, so here's the fork in the road. On one side, you've got the monolithic approach, just dumping one giant document, like a huge PDF, into the system. That's a one-way ticket to slow retrieval and a total nightmare to update. But on the other side, you've got the modular path, breaking all that knowledge down into small, focused Lego bricks. This makes finding info instantaneous and updating a single piece, it's a total breeze. So you might be wondering, how does the AI know which little Lego brick to grab? That's where you come in. For each entry, you assign these when-to-use triggers. Think of them as just labels. So when you ask for something like a social media post, the AI knows to pull the entries you've labeled brand voice and calls to action, and it completely ignores the color palette entry. It's just surgical precision. So, with all that in mind, you can probably see why just jumping in and adding content randomly is, well, a recipe for chaos. You need a plan. And that brings us to what might be the most crucial phase of all, creating a blueprint before you ever start building. And a blueprint is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an architectural plan for your knowledge. It's the logical framework that decides how everything is going to fit together. And look, this isn't just some nice-to-have extra step. It is the single most critical thing you can do to build an AI that's fast, accurate, and can actually grow with you over time. Check this out. This is a real-world example. A company had this massive 450-line brand guide, a classic monolithic document. It was slow, clunky, just a mess. So they created a blueprint and transformed it. They broke it all down into these 11 distinct modular entries, all neatly organized into logical categories. And, of course, every single one was well under that 2,000 character limit. And the results of doing all that blueprinting? Exactly what we've been talking about. Retrieval times went from minutes down to seconds. Accuracy shot way up because the AI knew precisely where to look. And updates became a piece of cake. Instead of hunting through a huge document, they could just edit one tiny entry in a snap. Okay, so the theory is clear, right? And the results, they really speak for themselves. Now, let's make this real for you. This last section is your action plan, the core principles you need to follow, and the exact next steps to start building your own high-performance knowledge base today. These are the 4 golden rules, basically learned from experience. First, don't try to boil the ocean. Seriously, start small. Don't try to document your entire company on day one. Focus on the essentials. Second, remember who you're writing for. An AI. That means be literal, be direct, and ditch the metaphors. Third, test constantly. Building this stuff is an iterative process. And finally, you gotta treat your knowledge base like a living garden. It needs regular care to be kept up to date.
So, what do you do the moment this explainer ends? 3 simple things. First, just grab a short document and test that 2,000 character limit yourself. Get a feel for it. Second, get a pen and paper, or open a doc, and just start sketching out the main categories of your knowledge. And finally, try to organize those sketches using that framework we talked about: core, visuals, voice, and use cases.
If you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this. Small, modular entries will beat a massive document dump every single time. The real secret to a brilliant AI is to plan your architecture before you ever lay the first brick.
So there you have it. You've got the playbook now. You understand the architecture, the rules, the whole philosophy that powers a truly intelligent system. So the only question left is, what will your first blueprint look like?